NASA's Wednesday Newsdays. Wednesday Newsdays.
Welcome to another set of episodes of NASA's Wednesday Musings. It's still season 2 and it's still under the broad topic of what traditional husbands want from their wives. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation so far. We talked about office husbands with my last 3 guests, Sheon, Jide, and Yomi, and I'm sure you'll agree with me that those conversations were quite intriguing, as insightful as they were as well. On this set of conversations, we'll be talking about another topic that I'm very interested in. But before I go on, thank you to my existing subscribers. And if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and refer this channel to your friends and family. So the topic for this episode is premium side chicks versus polygamy. And so if you're wondering what premium side chicks is, I will define that in a minute, but stay with me and I'll come back after the break. So premium side chicks, this is a term that I coined myself. And so everybody's familiar with the term side chicks, but then I came up with premium because I feel that I've come to an awareness of married men that proposition females to be their sort of monogamous mistresses. So you're telling this one lady you're married, and then you meet this lady and you're almost sort of giving her a value proposition of monogamy, that should be your only side chick. And I'm like, okay, so this is like the premium side chick. So she feels like she's the only one in the picture. There are no other girls that are going to come and fight or and try and take her position. But then there's a wife at home. And then I started to wonder, like, okay, so why don't you just marry this side chick and just be, openly polygamous, as opposed to trying to have your cake and eat it, which is what I think it is. My musings are usually by myself, but I'm doing in season 2, invited other people to come and share their views on this very interesting and intriguing topic, premium side chicks versus polygamy. So I have with me, coming back, is Yomi. Yomi, it's nice to have you back.
Hi, everyone.
Yay. Hi. And I have my friend Uti, who, if she's not on this show, we're having these conversations behind the scenes anyway. These are things that we talk about. And she has very strong, interesting views, so I can't wait for her to share it with you. Hi, Uti. Welcome.
Hello.
And we have a third guest, Emil, who is going to just be behind the scenes but sharing his views. His name is Demola, and he'll be bringing the male perspective on this topic. So welcome, Demola. Good to have you. Good evening. Yeah, so I'll jump right into it. So this first part of the conversation, we're going to be talking about whether the premium side chick proposition is a respectful one to the recipient. And what I mean by that is, I feel like the married men feel like, you know what, I'm not cheating on you because you're going to be my main side chick. I'm married, but I'm going to just dedicate my extracurricular activities to you alone. And it's almost like I'm doing a favor because I'm not going to mess around with other women. So it's like, I'm offering you some respectful value proposition. Uti, let's start with you. What is your view?
Interesting. I wonder whether this conversation is to be had on the level of reality, or to be had on the level of morality, or to be had on the level of perhaps an undertone of being sanctimonious.
Fantastic combination.
So if you ask me, is it respectful? As with many things in life, it's not really black and white, because the circumstances of the recipient, as you call it, so maybe it's perspectives. Is it my perspective as to whether I think that it's respectful to her? Is it her perspective as to whether she found it respectful or disrespectful? There are women that you will proposition, or that will be propositioned, and who will find it disrespectful because maybe it's contrary to their values, to their faith. There's a lot of that. There are women who, also by their circumstances, this might be their step up in life. This might be their opportunity to have a better life, to live a better life. And then this just might be the real independent chick who's thinking, I don't want to be submissive, subservient to any man. I want my life, I want my freedom, but I want my benefits. So I want my cake, and I also want to eat it too. So there are multiple perspectives to it. And as with all things in life, nothing is ever straight and clear cut, certainly not in the world that we live in today. Whether you then choose to put your tent in I'm straight and narrow, black and white, is a personal choice. Whether you choose to live firmly in the gray is a personal choice. I mean, today, if you take the vibe of the world, you can be one gender to this morning, you can be another gender this evening. So, to each their own, right? Everybody is hiding behind or living behind the concept of their truth.
Yeah.
So, if I take the perspective of what are my thoughts, right? I think that it's a very personal decision on both sides, because I asked myself that both the propositioner and the propositionee, what is your motivation, right?
Let me hold your thoughts, hold that thought, and I'll just go to the gentleman whose face will not be shown, but will share his opinion and lend his voice. Demola, please. What is your position, or what is your perspective on this? Given that Uti has said, it's again a matter of perspectives and where you're standing. What do you think?
Okay, so I think I would go a bit back and start from it. When you decide to pick a partner, whether as a guy or as a woman, there are certain things that are important to you. It can be physicality, how the girl looks or how the guy looks. It can be around the emotion or the humanity of that person. Most times along the line, you are lucky and you find everything you're looking for in one package.
Everything.
Yes. And at times, you find...
Well, you were talking earlier about variety and the spice.
and you find some level of percentage of what you're looking for in one package. The premium side chick is almost like, and I'm jumping ahead, it's almost like an assistant wife. So it's probably everything that you cannot or you haven't found in your significant other and you find in that person. You understand? So it's like a Pareto's principle, 80-20. The wife you have at home is 80. You understand? The 80 might be, oh, she's loving, she's caring, this and that. Meanwhile, the 20% might be in the other room. Might be the fact that she nags you a lot. And then you find out 20% in somebody else outside.
So is it respectful to the side chick that you're telling me I'm going to be the only one because I have a wife and she fulfills 80%? But obviously I'm not expressing it in these terms, but pretty much saying some things are lacking that I find in you and I absolutely love you, but I'm going to be dedicated to you alone on the outside.
Why not? When you said some things are lacking, it is no. Most times the premium side chick hears this explanation. She understands all these things because the guy has basically told her that, see, you know what, this is my wife. He's probably showed the pictures of his kids and everything. This is what my wife does. I'm not going to leave my wife, but I like you. And this is what I have to offer. And for the premium side chick, she's at the point whereby she just realizes that, you know what, nothing is really going for me as well. Or I have a boy that's probably broken my heart a few months ago, probably has nothing. And here's this guy that's probably a director somewhere, family's doing okay, he has disposable funds. I can live my life with my girlfriends and go out and be happy, and it doesn't have to bother me. Why not?
Interesting. Thank you very much, Demola. As a guy, you have spoken as a guy speaks. I'll come to Yomi, and Yomi, I'd like you to start from the conversation we had earlier, and we were talking about your idea of a side chick, and I think it touches a little on what Uti had talked about, and it's again just, I think we'll probably all just agree it's about the individual and where they're at and what their expectations are, what their needs are. So what you described to me sounded like, okay, this is what my need is, and this is what these are my terms for accepting this. So please tell me about your opinion of being a premium side chick.
Okay, so I think if we're very clear at the beginning of the transaction you have a wife, you have a family, but you want something from me. I think if we're honest, then I don't see any disrespect, because it's up to me to then choose to say I accept or I don't. I think disrespect comes with deceit. So when you don't tell people the truth, and I think, oh, I'm the only one, and then I discover you have a whole family with a whole nother last name, that's where we have a challenge. Now, for me, in terms of the premium side chick, I think the name says it all. Premium. I think it's a fantastic proposition. I think if you can afford it, then go for the gold, especially for the lady, because for me to be the unofficial second wife, because you want us to be monogamous, I think first of all, okay, so giving advice to those out there thinking of doing this, first of all, you have to find someone who is incredibly discreet. Okay, someone who has something to lose by putting it out there that you and he are affiliated. So you definitely want someone who doesn't want people to know what it is he is enjoying.
And is that really possible?
Is it possible?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So in terms of your bills getting paid, you're in a very comfortable space. Ideally, the Banana Island area, a nice 3-bed flat. That would be, that would be nice. Now, what I would advise as a premium side chick is that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. If this is what you're going to do, then you need I'm telling
An
you,
effective one, apparently.
I am telling you, y'all get your notebooks out. You need a minimum of 3. I feel like 3 is a good number. Don't go above, because then it becomes work. Okay? Now, remember that you get holidays off. You don't have to do birthdays. You don't have to do events. You're literally only providing services a few times a week, because he still has to go home. So you're on a good heavy rotation here. And you have 3 people paying the bill of 1. So if you have wisdom, and remember I said banana, you should be able to at least take the second and third rent and use it to invest in property, ideally in your mom's name, so that should the relationship end, we don't have issues afterwards. But I think on a serious note, for me, it's I for the lady, take advantage, but know that this is not love. Don't get your wires crossed. Anyone who can't be seen with you in public and cannot introduce you to his first wife as his second steady does not love you. And it's best not to get emotionally involved. Which means also that in terms of some type of longevity, there's usually a shelf life in terms of your ability and willingness to have this lifestyle, which is again why you maximize opportunity and potential while you can, and then know that in terms of retirement, you have at least managed some other relationships that could potentially blossom into something, so you don't find yourself 65 alone with 7 cats.
And Yomi has just given us the perfect business model for being a premium side chick. And Demola has a lot to say about this. Okay, please quickly share your thoughts.
So, Yomi, I'm about to throw all your theories and permutations down the river.
Throw it.
You said 2 words. You said discretion and someone that has something to lose.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the side chick is also married because she has something to lose and she has to be discreet. What do you have to say about that?
So,
Wait, let Uti.
So,
Let me know.
so my thoughts are around the area of being discreet. Some of the men, I don't want it to get back to my wife, but my friends will know you.
Exactly.
So discretion for me
Relative.
is relative. Longevity. There are some premium side chicks that have been there longer than the wife.
Oh,
She just didn't fit the model. that Demola defined. And she
Yes.
will be there, and she will continue to be there. And shall the wife find out, she may still make it over the hurdle and continue to be there. So the model is great. I just think that the model is a very black and white model for a very specific type of situation. But I think that these things are very fluid. So when you were speaking, and even when Demola was speaking, there are a lot of people who, we go into marriages for lots of different reasons, particularly in this part of the world. Men have clear definitions. Sometimes they know who they're in love with, but they know who they're going to marry. Because what is expected and what they also expect. So men have a clear picture in their head of who their wife is. What they don't have a clear picture, and what often tends to take them by surprise, is who they fall in love with. These two things sometimes never meet. So, ergo the premium side check. Now, the word premium for me means that, dude, you can afford to put me in Banana Island. I agree with you on that part. If you're going to be premium all the way. If you're going to cry in Gucci and go.
Amen.
So my point is, if I can't hug you, if I can't call you at the time that I want to call you, I'm going to open my wardrobe and I'm going to count the Louis Vuitton, I'm going to count the Hermes, I'm going to count all of it. And then I'm going to go back in my bed and go, you know what? It's worth it. To each their own. So for me, there's lots of different scenarios. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun, and
Absolutely.
we've all heard all sorts of stories. The motivations all differ.
But I think that there's a difference between a side chick and a girlfriend. So if we're in a relationship, then I don't think the term side chick is applicable to me because emotions are involved.
Can I be a girlfriend to a married man?
Yes.
Once he's married, you're a side chick.
Side chick.
No.
No,
Yes. No.
okay,
No.
so-
No.
So where you're coming from is you're trying to distill it down the line of emotion. Men have a clear picture of who their wives are, the kind of person they want. That much they're in control of. What they're not in control of is who they fall in love with. And if she doesn't fit the model of what that wife was, it's not every single man who then decides that I'm going to marry this person because this is the person that fits the picture I have of the mother of my children and who essentially is my wife. But this is the person who inexplicably I'm in love with. So I'm going to marry this person. And then I'm going to still make a life with this other person, right? Emotionally, again, human beings often start off talking about how I can control my emotions. Emotions by their very nature are not controllable. And let's not forget that as women, right?
I agree.
Once your needs are met, even if there are gaps, so a man protects you, a man provides for you, a man does all of those things, whether in secret or in public. You start to put him in a certain position. You may have started.
Let me
just make the point. You may not essentially. You might have thought your emotions were guarded. You might have thought you had protected yourself enough, and you wake up one day and you realize that this man is your whole life. So it's not
Then
a
this is
clear-cut
not the job for
situation.
you.
It's
If that is the case, don't be
So
a
that's what
side
I'm saying,
chick.
that there's
Don't
transactions. So
do
you in fact, when you started speaking, you called it a
It's a transaction.
So from the very get-go, you are talking transaction. And I'm saying there are very many people in this situation
I don't see it
that
as
it's not a transaction. Their story is very different. Yeah.
Let's hear from the gentleman in the room. Demola, please. Is it transactional?
So you guys have
Emotional?
actually scattered everything I was going to say. But let me start and tell you something. The whole side chick girlfriend conundrum is not something that is new. It's been there since the days of our parents. The aunties that come to your house and you will greet them, and your mom will greet them, and you know that daddy and this auntie are not just friends. You understand? It's been there. You've mentioned things around who you envision in your head and who you want to fall in love with. It always happens. And bringing it back to the current is about spec. Oh, this is my spec. This is who I believe can actually grow my family. Two different things, unfortunately. Sometimes they are, most times they are. You understand? So now when you're talking about side chick and girlfriend, a lot of these women don't see themselves as side chicks because they are there from the get-go. It's probably the ex-girlfriend you were dating before you find the girl you wanted to marry that never went away. She's been there before you. She was there when they were toasting you. when they proposed to you, and she's still there till today.
She probably came to your wedding.
Wow. Wow. I think that this is a perfect note to segue into the next question. And thank you. In fact, this question, this particular topic, I think we can have like 10 sessions on it. So I think what I've gathered from what everybody has said is, first of all, it depends on the individuals, the parties involved. Is it respectful? Is it a function of what the recipient is after, what is important to her? And then another thing that struck me was a question of whether it's transactional or emotional, and Yomi is on the side of it's a transaction, it's a business transaction. And Demola and Uti seem to think it's an emotional thing, and it usually stems from, the man himself even not being able to have a convergence of what he wants in one person, and so then you find them in different people, which is really sad. But again, it's the reality we live in. And this takes me perfectly to our next set of questions, or our next question, which is the next part of this conversation, is having a premium side chick, does it equate to being polygamous? So if you have a side chick, are you polygamous by nature, and why don't you then just marry this person? Stay tuned and join me in the next set of conversations as we go into whether or not having a premium side chick is polygamy.